Alright people, in the future we're going to talk about validation in Express and sanitation. This is the second day of the security, so enjoy. Our database should only allow clean data. We yesterday talked about it. For example, you're trying to save an address of a user in your database. That is, you define a schema on your, you define address schema in your schema, and then you say it's a string or whatever. You shouldn't allow that the user puts an address that has 999,090,000 of characters, a very long characters. So because it's an address, it just should be short, yeah. Or let's say if you have an email, it's just email should be string. Is not that enough? You have to check. Actually, it looks like an email. Like it looks like something with @ something.com. Yeah, it should look like something like that. If it looks not something like that, so you shouldn't allow that. Or let's say there's a biography about user you want to take and save in your database. It shouldn't contain HTML, CSS. Yesterday we saw that in the input we could just put some HTML tag and these things. So yeah, because it runs and ruins your backend and server. The backend should never trust the frontend. Yesterday we talked about it. To give the clean data. No matter what you do in your frontend, it's good you do security check in your frontend, you check the password if the password matches, for example, because you have two fields of the passwords. Always when you register, one is the password, and then again you say confirm the password, that is not a mismatching. You check it, you tell it the user, hey, it's not like they're not matching, check your password, it's not strong. Whatever you do in the front end, it's good, it's for you, the user is good, but it can be bypassed. Yeah, you cannot trust that your front end is just easy, can be bypassed. We talked about it, that no matter, you don't know if the request is coming, it's from your front end. It could be from everywhere, from Postman, from I don't know, somewhere else. A request could come from a browser or a curl or Postman. Yeah, so there is no way to be sure that from where it's coming. And any input, like something like that, you have an input type email in your front end. Validation, whatever you do there, it can be bypassed. Okay, any front end JavaScript can be bypassed. So we do not trust the front end. We do our safety stuff in our backend. So validation. These two things that we just talked about it in the introduction, these are actually an example of a validation. You are validating if the street address, yeah, shouldn't be that much character, it should be at least looking like an email. These we call it validation. Actually, you validate the input. And if our backend receives a string of ASDFGH for an email field, yeah, someone tries to register in your database with this garbage string, yeah, what would you do? Your backend should not create an account for this person, okay? So, or send any verification email or whatever. You have to make sure that. And the front end that you do, whatever, the validation in the front end that you need helps user, like it's user friendly. You show some error messages to user, hey, your password is not like strong or whatever. It's good if you want to have it, yeah. We also need the validation in the backend. And we can do it in a lot of ways, and one of the ways is like the way that I want to show you anyway. You can do a lot with Mongoose validators because Mongoose has also a built-in validator inside, and you did it already. You did it in the schema already. Some of them, some basics of them. Which validator did we look so far in the schema? Any guess? Yeah, think about it. The schemas that so far we did some validations also, and you didn't know it's a validation actually, but we did.
Is something to do with the set timeout data? No?
Set time out is a function in JavaScript.
No.
Or you mean timestamps or something? Yeah. The timestamps, it's an option. Like, optionally you add some timestamp. You're not checking anything. You're not validating anything. Yeah. Validation means like you check. It should be looking like that. Yeah.
Maybe required.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, required was one of the things that you were using, or the unique or trim. Yeah. What we were using enum, for example. These things are also part of the validation that you were doing there. And there are lots of them. If you check the Mongoose library, there are many of them that you can use. Yeah. But we do in another way, actually. I would like to do it in my way. Yeah, that's the part of validation. So you validate input that how should be an input that is coming. Is it an email? Is the password strong? Is the street, like the characters, they should not be like a lot, like a big characters, 90,000 characters, and so on. We have another things, the word sanitation. There are some people say sanitation. I don't know which one is correct, both maybe, and some people telling sanitization. Anyway, both is correct, and the literally it means like cleaning, correct? Sanitizing something. All right, yeah, like let's sanitize our hands or something. It's just kind of cleaning. And when you check, let's say, biography that it shouldn't have or contain HTML and JSS, you're so to say cleaning the data. You're checking, I see HTML inside, I see JS inside, I don't allow it. Yeah. Validation means you need to check. It shouldn't be the character long. The password must be strong. I don't know. The email should look like an email at least, and these things. But sanitation is like everything is fine. You validated that, but you see, oh, HTML and JS inside. It's not a clean data. Yeah. This is a part of actually an example of sanitation. The data should be sanitized, and this is much problem actually. It depends on heavily on your content, because every application is different. You have different data inputs, so you have to think about which kind of data you have. and then you have to think about the cases that you need to sanitize them, so to say. So your application allows users to have a text biography. Yeah, we're gonna do it today as an example anyway. They go to their profile. Let's say the LinkedIn profile has something like biography, I think. You go there and sit and type something about you, like a biography. Which characters do you allow, like you as the owner of this website, that the users can type some garbage about themselves? What characters you gonna just allow them that they can type? Think about it. So as a programmer and web developer, we've learned that they shouldn't type something like looking like HTML or JS or whatever, like something like this. Yeah, these open tags and closing tags. Inside you can write script tags and so on. It shouldn't be allowed, yeah? Or maybe parentheses or whatever. Are special control characters like text direction override allowed? Like they can change the direction of the, for example, writing. Like Persian is starting from the right to the left, English is left to the right. Are they allowed to do this? Or you need to think about that you could ban characters you know can be trouble. Yeah, you have to know them. And the most obvious one is just parentheses, curly braces, tags, and so on. And you have to maybe block something like that. This and this. Do you know this? Who knows this tag? What does it do? Yeah, exactly, like enter. It creates a new line. Like when you hit enter, it's exactly, if you write it in your code, it does that. And the most secure way would maybe to just allow safe characters. Yeah, safe characters, like which ones? Who can say? What do you think? Letters, definitely, yes, exactly. Anything else than letters? So letters could be A to Z. Numbers, fantastic, 0 to 9. Anything else?
Underscores.
Underscores, yeah, could be, yeah, no problem. Underscores. How about commas? How about dot? How about question mark? Are they going to be problem or not? No, Jacob. For example, something like a dot. So people write a biography, they want to put a dot and go to the next line. So if you don't allow dot, they cannot put dot or comma, or it's not dangerous. As far as you are controlling the tags, the parentheses, the dots, the commas, and the question marks cannot be dangerous. Yeah. So as you said, A to Z, spaces, commas, dots, dash, question mark, exclamation mark, and these things are safe. What about this? What about Arabic languages, Chinese, or these things? Do you allow that? Yeah. And how can you anyway control? Yeah, exactly. How do you, if you want to control the offensive language, is it allowed? Is it bad? Is it possible to control that? Yeah. For example, if you write some bad words as a comment in the Instagram, somehow they notice it, and they warn you, or they block your comment, they delete it, and so on. How they do it? Yeah. Or even Finnish and Korean and Hebrew and Icelandic, can you control all of them in any language and so on? Can you check everything? Is it theoretically possible to filter them out, or no? Think about these questions. I written that just to think about it. Is it possible or not? Yeah. Or does that job belong to a human moderators? Yeah. I would say before, like if it was a couple of years ago, it was a very difficult job, and some companies had humans sitting there and writing a list of, like in different languages. Like me as a Persian language, I know which words are bad, and I could just prepare a list of array of words, yeah, and putting it there, and then you could say, okay, if someone types Persian, these words, just check if it's inside one of them, then it could be we have bad words, offensive words, and so on. It was like those times, like that. Still there are these lists out there exist, I think, and now there are packages, maybe I don't know, I haven't done that in my life, but it's just as a general information. And there are packages and the ways that you can at least check some obvious bad words, because when I write, I have a Persian language, I can write Persian letters, bad words. In the Instagram comments, they understand it. Okay, this word is bad, because maybe they have a list of stuff, or maybe have some AI controlling it, translating it into English to see what does that mean. They can control it in this way. Or maybe someone reports my comment, and then they check the reported comments, why it was reported. They translate it somehow. If something can happen behind the scene like that. Or what happens when I type, we call it in our language Finglish, like or Pinglish, like Persian. I'm writing Persian but in English letters. Yeah, I'm talking Persian in English letters. I've noticed they cannot understand it. Yeah, you know what I mean? What I'm talking about? I don't know. Like when you talk in your language, when you type, but type it with English letters, let's say. So no one can understand that, actually, no machine. And it's a way of that if you want to put bad words in Instagram, they cannot know it. Because I do it a lot with current situation that we are in with Israel. I do it a lot. What about usernames? Is a break tag or BR a valid username, or something like that, or something like that? Yeah, you know what, I would like, yeah, it could be not, because we don't want to allow these things. Let's ask, I would like to ask Copilot or ChatGPT or someone. Let's ask, what should I sanitize in Express validation about, let's say, biography? O3 takes time. Let's see. Oh, don't type. Ah, no, don't change my. Cancel. Cancel. No. I wanted you to explain. Let me see. Yeah. So let me ask again. What did I ask? What did I ask? I forgot. Yeah. What should I sanitize, express, or validation, or anything else, doesn't matter. Something like biography. Let's see what we receive. So when validating something like biography field, you should consider sanitizing any data that could be used for cross-site, okay? That injection that we talked about it, like the tags, parentheses, and so on. Removing or escaping HTML tags, all right? If you allow limited HTML tags, whitelist them, all right? So the whitelisting means, like, let's say you want to allow some HTML tags. It's okay if you want to, for example, allow someone types a BR, like it creates a line. I don't know, for any reason. You can define a list of an array. Like you can have something like an array of characters, something like that, put it in a string, or anything else. This array, whatever you put that there, it's kind of the characters that you want to allow. Say it's okay. And when you put them in an array, something like this, we call that whitelisting. Like it's like not a black list of, I don't know, bad data. You can whitelist that. That's the whitelisting. We will do it today actually, for checking characters and so on. You have to normalize white space and control characters. Normalizing white space is like, there shouldn't be someone typing like this. Yeah? So normalizing spaces, like the spaces should be just every word has one space in between. Yeah? These things should be normalized also. Validate against an expected maximum length. Yeah, the length of your biography shouldn't be that much of the long. Yeah. How about different languages? Let's say someone types Persian or Chinese. So when dealing with multi-language, you have to make sure that you do not rule out the characters that exist in my language. For example, in my language we have a lot of dots, yeah, because we type and there are a lot of dots. So if you remove the dot, like you say, I don't allow dots, so no one can type Persian, yeah, in your literally they cannot do anything with Persian stuff. The XSS or cross-site attacks also, like HTML shouldn't be injected anyway, and white space, it's just almost the same. Okay, thank you. So about the username, these are not allowed, the tags are not allowed, the username, and you do not want someone uses something like that. So you want to just always in every field, doesn't matter, these tags, open and closing brackets, parentheses, curly braces, just get rid of them. All right, and yeah. By the way, about the XSS attack, like cross-site attacks, you shouldn't be worried nowadays. It's much less now because the React that you are using, it has a very secure secure checking or whatever they do, that no one can type these tags there and they don't work. It just take it as a text. Yeah, so you shouldn't be worried about. But if you are using your own HTML, just building an application with just pure HTML, JavaScript, you're not using something like I don't know, React or whatever, then you have to make sure then everything is safe. Yeah, the example that yesterday I was showing you, if you noticed, it was just normal HTML, and normal HTML is allowing you to do stuff because no one controlling that. React does that automatically for you and control everything, but also the front end can be bypassed, as I told you, and you don't know if it's coming from your front end. That's why we do all of this checking in the backend anyway, because we don't know from where the request is coming. All right, is that clear so far? Great. If you don't have any question, let's jump into the live coding. You know what? I'm lazy to build a scratch, the server and connection to DB and let's copy and paste. Is it okay? Yeah, let's do it. We will do from scratch maybe when we do a review of full stack or something. Let me find a previous folder. What we did, I just copy and paste here. Documents. Alright, security concept is empty. Pagination, yeah, something like that. I'm gonna just take the server. We don't need the client. I'm gonna take everything inside. Or you know what? Let me take just some less things. And let me take everything. Copy. Yeah. Replace file notes. No, don't replace. Skip. All right. Let me give you the live share. By the way, the live share is not helpful that I'm giving it to you, because if you get error, you just copy and paste my code and you never ask that you have an error. It's bad. So try to solve the error with me. Just ask, I have error, I don't understand it. Don't try to, I don't know, take my code and solve it. You know what I mean? So the live share also in the chat. Let's build exactly what we talked about. Like I don't know, user, email, password, biography, and something like that. I think we have a user router, and the user the user model address go away. I don't want to add. This is schema. So definitely required. Which one? If you register in, I don't do it. If you just you force them something, yeah, and that I don't want to say anything about me. You do not want to make it required. Either they want it to be, they want to type something or not, but yeah, but it depends on your application. If you want to require it, then make it required. And also we can trim it. We can control this trimming also, these things with when we using, like when we validate stuff. And should it be unique? No, has nothing to do with the unique, but email should be unique. Don't forget that. Unique. Yeah. And by the way, I think I have a mistake here. When you're creating the collection of, this is the collection, okay? You create a collection in your database named user or users. It should be with capital, because when later you relate this to something, to another schema, the data relations you had with Shinhi, if you chose like me with the collection name with small letter, it will have bugs and it won't work. Yeah, be careful with this part, that choose the collection name of your like models starting with a capital, like in this case user. All right, but later you don't get a bug, because I had this bug and I didn't know from where it's coming. I was days of solving that. I didn't know what's wrong. It was not working, and then sometimes it was working, and then that was because of this. All right. So we have a schema, user schema, fantastic. And then we created the model. The user schema has a username, password, email, and this thing. So if you wanna now validate and sanitize every field, you can do it straight ahead in your schema. Like here, and one by one, you add a lot of code here. I don't like it. It's bad. Because first of all, so it's the one of the ways, and it's the way that also is in the curriculum. Like you can do all of this validation here in the schema, but it will be too much. I would like my schema be clean like this, and I want to use it. I want to create this validation as a middleware. Yeah, I don't want to do it in the schema. I want to do it as a middleware function, because which one is better? I will tell you the difference. Auto draw. This is your application, okay? React. This is your so to say front end. This is your back end server. Someone makes a request to register in your website. Yeah, make a post request to /API/register. And then they put some data here, username, password, email, and so on. This coming here, and you have a very nice validation in your schema. Yeah? This is the first option. What happens here, that schema is your database, which means the request goes anyway. So it takes whatever you have, goes to your database. So the backend sends it with your model. The user model takes your data, rec.body, sends it and say, save it to the database, please. And this is the schema. And the database checks that, okay, you said it should be required, and then the password must be strong. And so you define all of these things in your schema. And then if one of them fails, then, okay, the database brings you back an error. And then the error, it's like email is not an email. It's not looking like an email. It's a bad email, or the password is not struck. Anyway, whatever is answers that, then goes back to the front end. This is one step, two step. Yeah. So an extra step to the database, because you defined it as schema. So the schema always is for the database. Database checks what you did and so on. But when you do it as a middleware, yeah, the same procedure. Someone registers, and there is a before going to your main function, your main controller, to save it to the database, we have a middleware in between, somewhere here in front, before it goes here. We check everything input that is coming here. We check the username. Is it good or bad? We check the email. Is it an email or not? We check the password. We check the biography. Everything we check here. If everything is fine, we allow that. Okay, we say continue, and then here when it comes, we know everything was fine. Then we say save it to the database. So it never goes to your database before checking. Yeah, and that is why better, because if something goes wrong here, if one of the fields is not working, like email or password or whatever, it stops the process here, through back error. Hey, something is wrong. Your password is not strong, or you have a bad special character in your username or whatever. Then it never goes to this controller to make a request to your database, because it takes time. And in this way, this is much faster based on performance. Does that make sense what I'm telling? Is it clear? Schneider says yes. or classes. Yes? How about others? Any question? Okay. Let's do it. So we want to create a middleware, but we need a package. I want to use a package for validating our data. If you search validator, the package that we want to use, npm. There are lots of packages there. You can see when I type npm validator inside of the npm.js website, which is all the packages we use there, there is an express validator, there is a types validator, there is class validator. There are a lot of validators, and there is two validators package. That one is express validator and one is just validator. Let's check both of them. So there is a package validator.js, and oh, it's updated 20 days ago. Fantastic. And you can see that the download, the weekly download, is about 15 million per week. It's highly used. So I can say everyone that's using Express, they're using this as a validating their inputs. And there is another one, I think, Express Validator. Express. Validator. Come on, you just showed it to me. Express HTML Validator, Express Validator. There are a bunch of them. I don't know. Let's check. What is this? You can see. You have to make sure that, guys, when you are using a package in your app, you should trust it. Yeah. Don't install anything that comes to your mind or anything that you find. Look at the downloads per week. 2 people, 4 people. You cannot trust such a package because it's not trusted. And what if they put a malicious, I don't know, a script there when you install it and they just ruin your computer? It's not trusted because it's not used by a lot of people. How can you trust it? Is if it's used by a lot of people, because these things are very highly checked with everybody. If someone using a package here and if something goes wrong, it's immediately in the headline of the internet. Oh, this package is bad, it's malicious, don't install it, or whatever. You know, there was a package one time, if I remember it, you know what, I'm gonna search it. Fake seed package that was bad package. Searching. No, not about packages like this. Fake seed npm. Faker. I think it was Faker. I don't remember it. There was a package. The name of it was Faker. So it was creating fake data. Just if you wanted to seed your database, and you install that, and then it was just ruining your application. And the owner, because this is a month ago, it's updated. I don't think so now. This is the one, because it's now, it's okay, because everyone is using that. 8 million people per week. So it's not that. It could be another one. And the owner of this, the publisher of this package, like not this one, the one that was corrupted, just deliberately did it like that. They added a script. When you install that, it's just delete everything, ruins error and everything, and your application never works. What you were doing. If you didn't have a version in your GitHub, then you were done. Yeah, it did it deliberately, actually. I don't know what was the reason. So you have to be careful what you install. Yeah, it should be trusted. A lot of people is downloading them. And the thing that we want to use is validator.js. We want to install this npm i validator. Yeah, that's for your backend. And there are different ways of using. The old way for importing, which is dead anymore, we don't use it. This is the E6 module, import validator from validator, fantastic. And if you want to check, we can check it in this way. I don't want to do it because if you do it in this way, then it's inside of your schema or your front end. You can do it even in front end. We don't want to do it in front end. The front end is just can be bypassed. Yeah, we want to do it in the back end. The documentation is not complete. You have to go, I think, to the GitHub repository to check everything. But you have me, I know how it works. You don't need to read it. So this is a lot of validation here that you can read about it. Yeah, let's install it. npm i validator. Opening terminal. npm i validator. Okay. Listen if it's the dependencies express mongoose no. Now start. I'm gonna change this to empty DB. Okay, let's see. Let me let's test if request. Okay. Users. Let's. This is for the old time. This is anymore, so rid of this part, get rid of, and let's try to register. Username Osama, password, what we had, email also in our schema. Let's go Osama gmail.com, and what I want to type like this. Let's see if it's actually registering me now. And then a biography, which was not required, but let's put something anyway there. The bio will be I am a full stack developer. Okay, bang, sending. Fantastic, seems working, and everything is fine. But look at what is wrong. It's in my database, successfully created. If I get my users, I have array of one user, Osama, with that password. You can see this password is not strong. You don't want this for your users. This password is crackable just in seconds. I can tell you that. It's so bad. Also, this is not an email, and you registered someone with osama.com as an email. It can ruin your database with garbage data. So you have to control all of this. Yeah, we want to do that. Is it running for you on your side, everything? Before we go, I want to make sure if everything is working on your side. Yeah. Should I wait or should I continue? Sorry?
You can continue.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought maybe it's not prepared on your side. So, we want a middleware. Yeah, a middleware. Before sending data in my database, to check it. Even it never should go to my schema. It never should go to the database. Yeah. Before that, we want to check every field. So, in middlewares, let's create a new middlewares. All right. So in the middlewares folder, I'm gonna create. Let's name it, because it's about registration user. Yeah. If it's about registration a user, then you can name it, because you can have lots of this validating stuff. One of the highly used validation is when someone is registering in your website. So we can name it validate user.js. Yeah. Is a sign or a middleware. So if you want to create a middleware, what we need now at the beginning?
Sorry, which was the question?
When I say let's create a middleware, what is the signature of a middleware? Like when I say, hey, create a middleware, just an empty middleware, what is it?
It's a function with requests,
Yeah.
response, and next.
Yes, that's it. When I say, thank you, Mickey. When I say create a middleware, that's a function with 3 parameters, request, next. So then let's create it. So validate user, let's name the function, validate user equals to with next. The next step is that we here the validate package that we've do that to import it was middleware for that. Is inside of the body. Schema. I think you need is what could and bio. Before request correct button. Then we need when the request is next, which is the main. Should we when data is or finding a specific do you think we need to track that body? Is my question clear or should I ask it in another way?
Yeah.
What yeah?
You can ask in another way.
Yeah, another way. I'm gonna draw again. There are a bunch of endpoints you have in your server. You have an endpoint responsible for getting all the users and sending back. Endpoint for registering a user and sending back a response. An endpoint for deleting a user. An endpoint for updating a user. Which endpoint do you want to have this middleware that still we are working on it to validate the inputs, to validate the user? So we want to put it in the middle, somewhere here, in front of the main actually controller. When the request is coming, where should be checked? Like this middleware, should be run for a request that is a GET request for getting all the user or getting a specific user, or when they try to register or post method or delete or whatever. Where should be actually we use this middleware?
Post.
Fantastic. The post, because here we're gonna register the user and maybe the patch. Exactly, you're correct, Isam. And also when you are updating a user, because also when you are updating a user, there is a new data coming, rec.body, they change the email, they want to change the password. Also there you want to check. Fantastic. Yeah, let's do it then with post now. So this means this middleware should go between your endpoint, which is the URL, and the between, and then the main function that is just saving it to the database. That's it. This means not here, not here, not here, not here, here. Yeah? I need it here between the main function before saving to the database. I want to check it first. I want to run my middleware function. The middleware function we exported, we name it what? User, validate user? What was it? Validate user. Yeah, this one. And make sure that you are importing that. The Visual Studio should automatically do that. Do it. Yeah. So it's in the middle. That's why we call it middleware. It's like kind of middleware is kind of some functions between the endpoint, the main endpoint, and what you need to do finally, and between the the request that is coming, the method, and so on. So when the request is coming, if it's a post request to the /API/users, the request first goes inside of this. And inside of this, we just only have a console log. So I need to, I should be able to see the console log here. Let me put the code somewhere here that you can see. The only thing, when the request is coming here, we take and we destructure something, and also we console log something. That's all what we do. Let's make a request now to test it. Actually, bang. You can see that I got the console log. Request coming. This is exactly this thing. Request coming. And console logging the body of the request. Alright. Fantastic. But you can see it's waiting. Why it's waiting? No response, nothing. So it's just the request hanging around forever here. Or in another view or perspective, you want to see it, your request is hanging around inside of here. And it never goes here. It just stays forever here. Yeah? So we want to just handle this and check if there is an error and so on and so on. And if everything is fine, we say, okay, now we can continue to go to the next middleware or function. Let's do this. All right. Let me do it in this way. All right. So first thing first, you need to know what you expect from the body that is coming. I know that I expect, based on my schema, I expect username, password, email, and bio. Yeah. The first thing first, you can write some if condition. It's just some if condition. And in any of these fields can an error happen. Like, let's say maybe the username is not looking like a username that we want, or the password is not strong, or email is not looking like an email. There could be an error inside of any of this. We want to gather all the information about the error because we want to prepare a nice error to send it to the front end. Yeah, that's why after this you can have a variable like name it const, let's say errors or whatever. We want to gather all of the errors, and this errors is an array of errors. Just an empty array. Let's say that if we push it to this and add errors to the front end, that's some normal if you let's start with the normal if condition. If the username exists, username in are lots of methods inside. Methods or controls. Lots of I don't know all of them. Check if it's empty or not. It's exactly what or if it's float. Float is if it's a decimal number or not. You can, for example, use if it's a lower. Yeah, we don't care. Username could be lowercase, upper. We can between this and this, the minimum and maximum things that you want to use for the username. Not a very long username or very characters. Yeah, you control this, and this function is receiving two things. The first thing is string. You define that rec.body. Our rec.body username is a string. This is the first part. User name. I want to check the username. Username length. Then the next you can give it like maximum or something like that. Come on. Braces. We can let's say how big it can be. Yeah. The if condition is the explanation. Provided if it's empty, we want a true error. If it's not inside this range, put a not at the beginning of that. And if it's not in this range, we want to throw an error. So We want to prepare a nice error and push the error inside of the errors array. So we can say errors array, come here, I'm gonna push a nice error there. You can build your error that you want the way that you want. Oh, I have a typo, I think I deleted one parenthesis. Yeah. So error.push, I want to prepare a nice error with like I want to define which field is this error happening. The field that is happening is username, and then let's have a like kind of message. Yeah, a message that you can say, because if this error happens, either it was empty that happened, or it wasn't in this range of 3 to 20 characters. Yeah, we can write something like this. We can say user name must be how do you say it, 3 to 20 characters long. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's it. If you need more about username, you can add more conditions. Yeah, let's keep it for now simple. What happened, guys? I think I'm out. Guys, I don't know what happened. I'm out. I was just thrown out, kicked out. We will go to break soon. Just before we go to break, let me share again. Does this line make sense to you, this if condition? Okay, great. So let's be back. This is for the username. We can complete it the same way, the same writing if condition for the password, but other fields, for example, we need to check if the password is strong, yeah, or if the email is like looking like an email, and so on. And let's be back at 49, exactly 10:49. See you.